to a quad.
Talking about that because let's be real. On the old WNBA front, this is the most relevant the league is going to be for the next couple of weeks. Because we can be honest, during a couple of weeks, Caitlin Clark is out injured. Doesn't matter what happens. Does not matter what happens. No.
The WNBA is once again at the center of a major controversy, but this time, it's not about poor officiating or intense on-court scuffles. This situation runs deeper. Stephanie White's recent
groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
Back-to-back a factor at all with that?
I mean, I don't know if it's a factor from a physical standpoint, from an athletic training standpoint. Certainly in my mind, it is. But at the same time, she's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer. So.
It's getting harder to deny a harsh truth. Caitlin Clark has been under relentless physical pressure all season, and now it's caught up with her. The WNBA's rising superstar is now sidelined with an injury.
How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing. To everybody that said Caitlin Clark didn't look like herself, salute to you. For everybody that said Caitlin Clark might be going through something, salute to you. Clearly, you all saw what that person that stands there like this can't see. We all saw what was going on. Man, something's not right.
When coach Stephanie White addressed the media about Caitlin Clark's injury, fans expected clarity. What they got instead was uncertainty. White's unclear statements only deepened the unease.
Reported yesterday, like pain in the left groin.
It had to have been at some point during the day because they took her out yesterday, for the MRI. So I'm not exactly sure. I didn't hear about it until we heard from our training staff last night.
And with the MRI, did it show a strain or anything, or?
I don't. You'll have to ask her.
According to White, she only found out about Clark's injury on Wednesday evening, after the player had already undergone an MRI that same day. The timing raised eyebrows. It wasn't the kind of communication one expects from a top-tier professional.
Back. And within rushing her back, she re-injured that same quad. And then he rushed her back again. And then within rushing her back, she was forced to put pressure and put stress on different areas surrounding that quad. That leads us to our most recent groin injury. I don't need a degree to think for myself. If you've ever been to the gym, you got some chest pain, next thing you know, you got some shoulder pain. Why? Because instead of using your chest muscle to do the exercises, you compensate and start using your shoulder to...
Adding to the unease was White's repeated admission that she had been out of the loop. "I'm not exactly sure," she confessed. "I found out from our training staff last night." Her lack of a...
she's dealing with a lot herself, right? Stephanie White. Of course, she's missed, 2 games so far because of personal issues. So I don't necessarily know what her personal issues are. Hopefully it's nothing like DeWanna Bonner's. But nonetheless, she's dealing with some things of her own. So maybe it's a tad bit difficult to keep up with every single thing that happens with her players. And then, of course, she got this news late at night. So I don't know what time this could have been. It was posted early in the morning, so, she's probably just now getting into the facility and trying to figure out what's going on with Caitlin. Let me see the MRI. What happened with the MRI? They probably caught her right before she can get up.
Compared to her earlier quad injury, the circumstances surrounding this groin issue feel far more ambiguous. Previously, Coach White offered consistent updates and timelines, reassuring fans and media alike. This time, the silence is louder and more alarming. The vagueness may be signaling a more unpredictable or serious injury than anyone is letting on.
When she says you have to ask our training staff, are any of us really going to get the opportunity to actually talk to a training staff member? I don't think that actually is going to happen. So like what Stephanie White is doing right there is basically saying, I can't tell you, even if I could tell you, it's not going to be announced through me. It's going to be announced just how they announce everything else. They're going to announce it through a press conference. They're going to announce it through a press release, a tweet with the information. These organizations are very private, especially with, the injury information, because people go.
Clark's groin injury didn't come out of nowhere. It's the culmination of months of unchecked physical abuse on the court. Abuse that the WNBA has failed to properly address. Just days before the injury, Clark was hit in the eye by J.C. Sheldon and then blindsided by Marina Mabrey during a heated game against the Connecticut Sun. Since returning from her quad injury on June 14th, her performance has plummeted. She's made only one of her last 23 three-point attempts. And her dismal 6-point outing against Seattle now looks like more than just a cold streak. It looks like a cry for help. The league.
Caitlin Clark does not need to play another game until she's completely 100% healthy. If that means she has to miss multiple weeks, so be it. Because you don't want to get into the habit of her rushing back from injuries when she's not fully healthy. And we know if one nagging injury can lead to another nagging injury. So the best thing that the Indiana Fever can do, regardless of what Caitlin Clark wants to do, you have to protect your star, your superstar, because she's going to want to get on the court. But until she's 100% healthy, she does not need to play another basketball game.
The stats back up the narrative. A staggering 17% of all flagrant fouls this season have been committed against Caitlin Clark. Even more alarming, 80% of those came from one single team. This isn't random, it's systematic. From Kennedy Carter's blindside hit to repeated aggression from the Chicago Sky and Connecticut Sun, Clark has been relentlessly targeted. And the league's response? Minimal. Marina Mabrey's hit resulted in a technical foul that was later upgraded, but no suspension followed. A fine, and that was it. For the WNBA's biggest draw, this isn't just lack of protection, it's institutional neglect.
Real talk, a lot of y'all reckon she coming for him. At the end of the day, y'all can't stop nothing, bro. Y'all trying to beat her up and bruise her up and take her out the game and injure her, bro. We know what the motive is, dog. Like, don't nobody like that. I don't vouch for that. I don't like that. You hear me? Y'all not leading. Look, y'all need to get that out y'all heart. Cause that's some deep demonic stuff. The way y'all thinking and how y'all moving and having y'all little meetings and all of that and wanna plot against this woman and her teammates that have her back. Y'all better leave her, Sophie Cunningham.
Clark's supporters aren't staying quiet. Social media has exploded with frustration and outrage. Many are calling for her to leave the WNBA entirely. One post read, "If Caitlin Clark decided to play overseas, I wouldn't blame her one bit. The WNBA doesn't deserve her." Fans are angry, and they're not wrong to feel that way.
To hold out again today. It really is a day-to-day thing, and I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.